inside the floor. Scoops it up. Booker brings the boom.
Yes, sir. The Hardwood Show is back. Two-man booth here. A little change up today with the two-man booth, though. We got my guy Travis Mangone filling in for Big T. Big T had a little dentist appointment, or so he says. So he will not be on the show today. He'll be back tomorrow. Mangone, how you feeling here, buddy? We haven't talked a little hoops in a little while. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I can't believe Big T is missing after that game. I don't think he's at the dentist. He is still in his room. He is celebrating on the workbench. I mean, that was a game last night. Like I had some of my friends over, and they're Nuggets fans, right? Because they're from the Denver area here, and you know we root for our fantasy stuff, and we do have like allegiances to teams, but they don't have any money on the line, JC. They are just pure fans, and they were going nuts last night when they won that game. And I get it. It was a wild one. I thought they could come back, but then like once they did, I was in shock. You know, it just didn't. I was waiting for it to happen, and my Celtics lost. You know, I'm a Celtic truther, and you know, I'll have to take that first game on the chin. But I have no worries about the Celtics. I do have worries about the Thunder. And then, of course, we got the games tonight. The Cavs. The Cavs is another disaster situation with all the injuries they're dealing with. Like, they're not going to be able to survive if those injuries are real. The kid, I didn't get a fresh cut. I shaved the beard myself. So I did not get another haircut, but I shaved the beard. And last thing is the Timberwolves, where JSU, you and I are going to unite and talk about how Ann Edwards hopefully, tells them to suck it. I'm a little torn. I'm kind of like, I feel the same way with the Lakers series as I feel with the Timberwolves series. Like, I don't want to root against these like older players that we grew up watching because I want to keep watching Steph Curry. I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw what Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo. There's like a clip of them talking about Steph Curry, and they said, "You know what a Steph Curry game is? It's like a blowjob, right? No one says no to that, right? Everyone loves a good blowjob." And they said, so everyone loves a good
Bill
Steph
Simmons
Curry.
said this?
Yeah, it was him or Ryan Russillo. I think it was Simmons. But yeah,
Okay.
he basically said, like, that's the equivalent, right? If Steph Curry goes for 40 tonight, you're not going to say no, right? That sounds like a good time to watch.
Well, to be frank here, I will not be as happy if Steph Curry goes for 40 tonight, seeing as I will be on the other side of
Sure.
Steph Curry. No. But I get what you're saying, though. Like, as a NBA fan watching, no one's going to argue with Steph Curry going off for 40.
Yeah, what I'm saying is have you ever heard anyone go like, oh, shit, Steph had a
blowjob narrative. Oh, Terry. Yeah, we got a little blowjob narrative. I mean, I'm gonna say it like, you know, no one's gonna say no to that. I agree with Mangone there. I'm just, you know, as a Wolves fan, I would not like it. See, Sam knows what I'm talking about right here.
He's a Wolves fan. Like I understand that, right? Like it's
like, but Sam's gonna probably have some money on his Wolves too. So like, it's a double-edged.
I'm talking money. I'm talking like if you just like for instance, JSU, you would love to watch LeBron James put up 6 points in the NBA playoffs, right? No one actually likes to watch Steph put up 6 points in the NBA playoffs. There's not that many. I don't know. I just think he's universally.
I would love to watch it because normally I bet against LeBron, so it would make me feel better. But when I bet on LeBron, it does not make me feel good. At the end, I'm like, yeah, he sucks. He had 6 points, but like if I bet on him, I'd be pissed about it. So I get what you're saying though. If you're not like betting on it and you're just watching it as a true NBA fan, then yeah.
I will admit I will not be happy if the Wolves lose tonight because I do have money on the Wolves, right, for the series. I put a bet on them. That I did them, and I parlayed the Celtics, so not looking great for now. But I'm not worried, like I said.
Oh my God, you really overreacting to one game?
No, I'm not worried. I'm not. People.
Oh, okay, thank God.
I know. Well, people don't.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. So one, we'll get, of course, Big T found a way to make it for the Nuggets show, miss the next show, then make it back for the next Nuggets game tomorrow. I'm pretty sure they play tomorrow, right, Mangone? So Big T will always find a way to get back on for the Nuggets, so you can get his reaction about the Nuggets. Yeah. I can tell you right now, though, that man is very happy about his Nuggets. I will also say, though, that this is what I was talking about with him that one show when we went through every single Nuggets guy, and I'm like, would you take him over him? And he's like, yes, I take the Nuggets guy. And I'm like, we went down the list with like all these teams, man, go. And it's like the Nuggets guys, like their main 6 guys are pretty fucking good. It's just after that they don't have much. Whereas like OKC, that this is the difference between OKC. Like OKC is deeper in theory, but the role guys are better in my opinion on the Nuggets side. They're older, they're more experienced, they are better though, and it's like it kind of showed in that game. You know what I mean? Like I talked about it before, like Jokic in this series, it's so much more of a mismatch than in the last series with Zubac because Chet and Hartenstein, there's 2 issues. Chet's too skinny. Even though he's long, he's too skinny. So Jokic can bully him anytime he wants. And then Isaiah Hartenstein is not big enough. You know what I mean? He's not tall enough. He's a little shorter for a center. So Jokic can shoot over him. And what do we see late in the game? Jokic hit that top of the key 3 right over Hartenstein, right in his fucking face. And then him bully Chet Holmgren a couple times. Him bully whoever was at the top of the key right down low for an easy 2. And he just dominated. And that's what I said, like, when your best player can fully dominate and the role guys play the way those role guys did, where Aaron Gordon's giving you 22 and 14 and Christian Brown's giving you a double-double, you know what I mean? Even if Jamal is just having a so-so game, which he did, like that's fine because those guys are playing out of their mind plus Jokic. And that's what you saw yesterday. Like OKC should have won that game. This happens all the time in the playoffs. I can go through a shitload of games that we've already had in the playoffs and been like, this team was better for 3.5 quarters or literally 3 quarters in like 9 minutes. But that last 3 minutes is key for a lot of these teams, especially the younger teams. And you saw it down the stretch with OKC. You saw it, and this isn't a younger team, but Boston down the stretch, they shit the bed. They were up 20-something. And I told you guys, by the way, this is another thing I talked about on the show, man, going, whenever the Celtics get up 20, just live bet the other team. Always. You always live bet the other team because the Celtics notoriously, and you know you're a Celtics fan, they notoriously let up when they get a lead like that early. They always do.
They stop driving. They just settle. They
shoot threes. That's why they get in games, start to blow teams out, but then they get out of games real fast because it gets, they cool off. And that's the problem with the Celtics. That's why I always say, like, when they get up like that early, you live bet the other team. And the exact scenario happened after I literally talked about it with Tony yesterday. We literally talked about it, how Boston, and then the exact scenario happens where it's like, hopefully some people listened and live bet the Knicks because that's just the way Boston plays. Like every single time, just do it because they will let you back in when they cool down.
Yeah. So to your point with the Nuggets, the reason I like them in this series, and everything happened yesterday, which I was hoping would happen, but like so Zubac was a problem for Jokic, right? Because he made it where you could ISO him and then you could cover everyone else on and just stay at home, right? You can't just leave Hartenstein and Chet on Jokic because it's barbecue chicken, right? Like he's going to score every single time.
Did you see how much they were packing the paint when he was at the top of the key and he would start to back whoever he had down? How much both like weeks, like they were packing in. So those 3-pointers that he would pass out to like Russ, they were like wide open.
But it didn't matter because the doubles were not coming fast enough from the sides to cut it off. So he was already at the position, right? Once you're at the position, it does not matter. You get the bucket, right? Because he's just that tall. Like it's shooting over a chair, as Big T likes to say. So he's going to make that every time. So they're going to have to pick their poison.
Chet's length is not bothering him like it's going to bother normal people. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. It did the exact thing I was hoping would happen. And now they're going to have to decide, do we double early? And if they do, now good luck with the Aaron Gordon 3 in the corner, which can we talk about Aaron Gordon's development as a player? I mean, he can make a 3-ball now. He used to be an issue with that 3-pointer.
Well, let's be frank. He's getting some really, really good looks.
But he used to not make those, JSU.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I guess when you work on it with Jokic and you know you're going to get those all the time, I would assume that he stands in that corner a lot shooting threes.
Yeah.
Because he looks way more comfortable doing it. So I would assume he's practiced it a lot and stuff like that.
But just think about Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon was the player that was this athletic freak that used to be just like this dunker and then, of course, a good defender. And now he's got a jumper. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's kind of developing pretty nicely over his career. So I give him a lot of credit for changing up his game.
What'd you think about the end of the game? Because I saw a lot of people talking about the end of the game. I even saw a reporter asking Shea and Jalen, like, you guys think you did the wrong thing fouling up 3? And they're saying, like, this is what we're taught. Like, this is what our coach wanted us to do pretty much. We were taught this. This is how we've done it all year. You know what I mean? Like, do you think it was, like, the wrong strategy? Because I've talked about this. Most people should know where I stand. I always would do this up 3. You know what I mean? If you trust your team, obviously not to foul like a jump shooter and they can foul you and they're up 3. I just thought OKC didn't execute, right? You still got to make your free throws when you do that. Like they didn't execute, but I still think it's the right thing to do. Some people would argue, hey, you've got like one of the better defenses and great defensive players and stuff. Just play it out. But then they don't talk about when you lose, just playing it out. So
it's fine. So this is what I would say. One, I wish they would have fouled a little later, right? They had time to kill, right? Like they fouled him all the way in the backcourt, right? Like it was before he had even crossed the line. So
you're talking about the Aaron Gordon foul or
yes.
I think it was because AG got the ball.
They were like,
oh shit. I don't think
Gordon.
they would have fouled that early if Jamal got the ball. I
Correct.
don't. But because AG got the ball, I think they were like, this is who we wanted to get
the ball. It's a 70% free throw shooter. Yes.
Right.
That's how I felt. I was okay with it because when I saw Gordon get fouled, I was like, that's not the guy you want at the line, right? Like I'd rather Christian Brown and I'd rather Jamal Murray. Like there's other guys I'd rather at the line.
And he knocked down those 2 free throws too. That's a huge part of this too, because because here's the thing, even though people will say in the end, oh, it didn't matter because he hit the 3 and they won by 2, it does, because when he hit the 2 free throws, it puts even more pressure on Chet because now he's like, to stay up 3 to be safe, right? I have to go and knock down both free throws. You know what I mean?
I actually love that they got the ball to Chet because that's the exact guy I want fouled in that moment. Like
anyone but SGA,
correct.
Which I thought they did a great job of after that layup, which was ridiculous. Dude, just put 2 people on him. Don't let him catch the ball. Let anyone else catch the ball. Don't let him beat you.
But I'm not scared of Chet shooting those free throws. And dude, that guy's he is, he's one of their guys. And he hasn't been in that moment. So the knees could get shaky there, right? I liked it. I thought it was the right guy to kind of get the ball to. So
but back to the point, do you think it was the right move
for OKC to foul? I'm fine with it. I wish they would have killed more clock.
Because it's either you're in favor of it or you're not. You know what I mean? It's not like you can pick and choose because it's going to work sometimes. Sometimes it's not going to work, obviously. I think it works more times than it wouldn't. That's just my opinion. I get why. But are you on the fence when it comes to fouling up 3, or are you for it? Is my point.
I agree.
I've seen a lot of people against it, and I'm like, where do these people come from? Oh, because someone just lost doing it.
No, I agree with you. I just wish they would have killed a little more clock. I get why they did it. I'm just saying, like, I think in that moment you want to kill clock. Like, you want them to go at least up the court. But
Big T looks jacked today. All
yeah,
right, yeah. Again, like I said, I think if it came to a shooter that they didn't want with the ball, they would have killed a little more clock. But because it went to AG, I think that's why they fouled.
Because like another thing you can do there, JSU, is like if you throw a double quick on Gordon, like you might just get the turnover and game over, right? He's not a guy that handles the ball well. Like so, I don't know. There's just I thought it was a quick foul, and you could have killed.
There's a chance where he gets it to an open shooter because you doubled. So now there's a chance that someone's open down the court, and if he gets it to him, then or if he gets it to someone running, kind of like how Russ was running on the outlet, and then he gets it to the open guy in the corner. Now they have an open look at a three and stuff. And the whole point is 2 doesn't beat you, 3 and you're tied.
Yeah.
That's the point, right? So
of course, but if he does, you can always just foul Gordon pretty quick. So it's not like the end of the world. But I'm with you. Like if I was the coach, I'm perfectly fine with the decision that was made. You got to make your free throws, right? Like
if I'm the coach, I do that every single time. And I just trust my team to make free throws.
You know what Big T always, Big T says? Big T always says this, I'm pretty sure. I think it's him. It could be DC or Big T. I can't remember. But someone says, if you're watching the game and you see them do it and you're rooting the other side and you're like, oh, shit, you know what I mean? Like you didn't want that to happen. And I'll tell you this.
Then it was the right move.
Yeah, I want the shot to look. And like if I see my guy get fouled, I'm like, oh, I don't like this because I want to get a chance at a look.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing with the Boston game, right? Like when they went to foul, I was like, oh shit, don't do that. You know what I mean? Because like Boston, like if you're rooting for Boston, like you want them to get that 3 up. They're down 3. There's not much time left on the floor. If they foul, then you're like, so that's how you know real fast. But that was the other game, obviously. The Knicks came through. We got our resident Knicks fan team there.
We have to transition to this part, JSU. I have to go on a rant.
Well, wait a second. Again, this is Boston right here.
Correct.
You live and die by it, baby. That's what you do.
So if I told you there was a team, okay, they missed 45 3-pointers, an NBA historic record in NBA playoff history. It was the most ever. And they went to overtime with the team.
I would have guaranteed you it was the Boston Celtics.
Well, sure. What if you also guaranteed me they lost? What if you guaranteed me they lost by 20 too?
Yes.
You wouldn't have thought they went to overtime. Like they went to overtime and they shot that bad. Like,
well, it was a tale of 2 halves, kind of, because the Knicks weren't great in the first half. Like, let's just be frank here, right?
This definitely probably had a huge effect as well. We should mention.
Yeah, okay, but he wasn't really affecting the game, and that was one miss I had. But he was sick. This fucking guy, he's fucking sick all the time. I swear to God, I've gotten him on the 2 or 3 times this year where he's been sick and gotten scratched or like left the game after 5-10 minutes of fucking play. So that's just. It's tilting me even more. I can't wait for Big T to come on. Oh, you said Porzingis. Yeah, I did. I fucking did. Whatever. He sucked. He was sick. Whatever sick is, by the way. What was he, shitting his pants, man, going? Like, was he sniffling?
He has this like weird illness, and he's had it all year where like they can't figure it out. Like they don't know much about
like he played 12 minutes. So like what? I don't understand. Like,
it's not like he had it's not like he was just throwing up and had the shits. Like, I think it's this weird illness that has to deal with like his like conditioning and fatigue. So,
my God, Matty Ice. I saw he had vaginal discomfort.
I would love to joke about it and stuff. Like, I genuinely think it's like something they can't figure out. Like,
I played him yesterday, so we can joke all we want about it because I played him yesterday. So
I played him too.
Literally.
I didn't know if I was gonna play him, but I saw the price was kind of cheap, and I was like, I'm okay with it.
That's what I saw too. I mean, like the one thing. So like, that was obviously bad on the show yesterday, but. A lot of things we talked about on the show, like OG being the best of the Knicks mid-tier guys, SGA and Jokic clearly ahead of the stars in the first game. We like the role players for the Nuggets, Alex Caruso, Tony talked up Miles McBride. These guys were like all on the winner, by the way, and we had 2 different members I'm assuming both of them watched the show. I know one of them did. My guy Chef Frank. I think Tyler's daddy was the other dude. 53K they won. They shipped. I think it was the flagship contest there on DraftKings.
Big T tweeted it out. So if you want to like look at it, and another point to why you probably played some Porzingis is what you guys talked about on the show. All these cheap guards, right? Like I liked Westbrook. I didn't like McBride as much as you guys, which is fine. But I like
Tony hated. To be clear, Tony hated Porzingis. I don't know if you watched the show. So
yeah, I heard he hated him. But I'm just saying, like one reason I got Porzingis JSU is because I like cheap guards, right? And if you like cheap guards, you just kind of fall on some expensive centers and forwards. And I don't know. I've talked about it all year. The cheap forwards just are not a thing. Like you just want to play these cheap guard values. It's just obvious. So I
just don't understand how he was there and then all of a sudden like something like took him out. Like I want to know what like took him. Was he just like feeling like he was gonna faint? Like what was he that exhausted or something?
I'm telling you, it's this weird illness that he's been dealing with for like months. Like it just like pops up and he just like doesn't feel good. Well, they can't really figure it out. But to your point of the winner that Chef Frank had, he had Westbrook, Miles McBride, Christian Braun, OG Anunoby, or Anunoby, I'm saying his name wrong, and B-Near will probably make fun of me for it. Jokic, SGA, Aaron Gordon, and Alex Caruso. So, yeah, that was the winner you guys kind of gave out on the show.
Don't leave out Tyler's daddy. Tyler's daddy shipping with the same team. So, but again, though, it was pretty much like full jam of the Nuggets. Miles McBride, which was one of the cheapies that Tony loved. We both talked about Alex Caruso just because we knew he was going to have a role, you know what I mean? Even though he was going to get owned, he was going to have a good role. And he's playing really good, man, going. That's another guy like OKC. That's a guy that they're gonna lean on. It looks like a lot in this series.
He started the second half, right? Like I mean, that was massive.
Yeah, and I think he needs to play even more. Honestly, I think he needs to play more. I don't know if you start him, Mangone, because I kind of like him coming off the bench. So but I get why they did in the second half.
You do it like Batum. You do it exactly like Batum. It makes sense.
Exactly. So. He was awesome though. He makes big plays, and that's what they need. Someone like that, a vet, can play both sides of the ball. Doesn't need the ball in his hands though, so it doesn't take away from Shea or Jalen, their stars and stuff like that. So he's perfect. But yeah, it was just interesting. Both games, man, going the teams that should have won didn't end up winning. Either drop big leads or like OKC. They kind of controlled the game. It felt like most of the game, Mangone, and then just let it slip at the end.
Yeah, they let it slip, and it's just. I mean,
it's not about who's better though. So like people like OKC wasn't worse than the Nuggets. Like you know what I mean. I thought watching the game, I was like, OKC is clearly controlling this game. They clearly look like the better team, but they're also allowing Denver to stay in this game. You know what I mean? And then that's what happened. And then they caught him at the end. And that was more to my point of like, man, they were plus 500 for the series. Like Denver was plus 500. I was like, that is way too wide. These teams are much closer than that plus 500 would indicate. And that's why we both loved, me and Tony loved the Nuggets. I don't know if you bet the Nuggets for the series, but
the only series I actually bet was the Timberwolves one, and then I had the Celtics, I guess, in it too. But I agree, like the dog prices just felt wrong, right? Like
felt wrong. Yeah.
I did not understand the plus 500. Like if I was betting it, if you told me, hey, Mangone, here's $100, you have to bet on this, I would bet.
You would bet the dog, yeah.
Yeah, I would bet.
Honestly, it was kind of like dog or pass, anyways. I don't know how you were betting anything other than the dogs in the Boston series, in the OKC series. Even in the Cavs series, honestly, but I bet the Pacers. And again, just looking at the futures, Mangone. So the Pacers are down to 35-1. That's a big drop. They're 9-1 to win the Eastern Conference, which I gave out at like 22, I think, to 1 last week.
It's a
and
big
now they're
drop
down to
because of the
9-1.
injuries to Mobley and
Yeah.
Hunter, right? Like
Yeah,
those are
in the
fun.
path, man. If those guys are out, which we're gonna get to here on the slate in a sec, but that's gonna be huge for the Pacers. And again, I thought the Pacers and the Cavs were a little closer than what that line would indicate at like +3, whatever they were, 10 or 30, whatever they were for the series to start. And yeah, I think it's showing there. They've got the same odds as the Knicks. Knicks are now 9-1 to win the East. Cavs are still +195. Boston is -115 after that loss, man. Going, is there any bet that you like from the Eastern Conference side, looking at those numbers right now?
Are they -115 to win the series?
To win the Eastern Conference.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say there's no way.
No.
I mean, I still like the Celtics, but I mean, that's just people.
Would you bet them at -115? Would you bet them?
Yeah, I mean, I just think they're the best. I know the one worry I would worry about. I guess I would need to know more about Porzingis' injury a little bit to see if that's going to affect them. Because that is my one big worry is if like too many injuries.
The Nuggets also, I missed this drop too. So they were 40-1 yesterday, I think, to win the championship. They're down to 18-1.
That's a huge move. Jeez. I mean,
I didn't even realize that until I looked at it. I'm pretty sure they were 40-1 like yesterday.
If you actually like want to bet the Nuggets, like I would like wait for OKC to take a game or two because like they win. I mean they win.
Yes. Yeah, you missed your shot to bet the Nuggets. Like, yeah, they were like 60-1 before Game 7 or something like that of the last series. So you definitely missed your time on the Nuggets. I think still Minnesota at 11-1. If you're looking at the championship prices, is still probably the better bet. Now, I still like the Pacers a little bit at 9-1. But if you already bet them at 22, I'd stay away.
What are the Warriors? You haven't said theirs. What's their
price? +650 to win the West, and they are 18-1 to win the chip.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely like the Timberwolves one. I definitely like that look, especially because like I think the Timberwolves, for one, they match up really good with Denver, obviously, and then man, against OKC, like they could do it too. Like I just think they have like the best like if you think of the Warriors matchup, I see routes where it doesn't work out well. The Timberwolves, it feels like both matchups can work out really well for them.
So this is just like I feel like Minnesota is a good matchup. Is good in this spot against Golden State. I think they have advantages that they can exploit here. I thought that the Nuggets had advantages that they could exploit against OKC, and I really like Minnesota against the Nuggets if we get that series because I feel like Ant and Minnesota have just had their number recently in stuff. So, not to say that Jokic is not going to have a good series. It's just like I feel like Minnesota is done well against the Nuggets. So
yeah,
I'm kind of hoping we get that man going because I feel even more confident with Minnesota against Denver.
Yeah,
if they get past Golden State.
It definitely would be fun to watch too, because like that series feels like it has some juice to it, right? Like both sides obviously have played against each other enough where it's like not saying it's got a rivalry, but it's got something to it. So I'm excited.
The Pacers moves though are pretty nice. If you got on with the Pacers,
if you got on the Pacers, it's nice. I think if you did get on the Pacers, I think you need to be looking at hedge opportunities when you get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But that's just me. Obviously, you have a lot of time to figure it out, but I truly think I knew there'd be one game in the playoffs where everyone would say, "Oh, Boston's in trouble," and they just missed threes. This happened last year. It happened against the Pacers, and I'm pretty sure it was them. And everyone was like, "Oh, they're going to take it." It was either the Pacers or the Cavs. I forget who it was, but there was a team that it happened last year, and everyone thought the sky was falling and Boston was in trouble. It's just literally how they play basketball.
Mangone's not wavering. He's sticking with his team. That's a true fan right there. Mangone is not playing.
I might jump back in and put a little more on be there. So
yeah. I mean, listen, -115 too. Like for the East, I forget where they were yesterday, but it was definitely like at least -175, I think, to win the East, and now they're
what I do want to see, JSP, which is driving me insane, is I want to see Boston drive to the hoop. Like Tatum, the one thing he needs to stop doing is stop trying to be Kobe Bryant. You're not Kobe. I know you want to be him, but you're not. You're a
He
great
wants
player.
to be Mangone. Let the man try and be fucking one of the GOATs. You know what I mean? Let him try.
But if he lets the game come to him, he's so much better when he does that. He just tries to do the two dribbles under his legs, step back, and then he just like puts up a shot that's not good. Drive to the hoop and be a threat like you are. Like you're able to do that. It just drives me insane.
Yeah, I just,
DC,
I think at this point we know.
I will call your ass
Tatum.
out. This is bullshit. I'm the Celtics fan. You are the one that roots for Minnesota and Denver. So you have two teams in every sport. You like the Twins. You like the Atlanta Braves. You try to spin this narrative on me when you're the one that roots for more teams than me. So
Mangone's got receipts, DC. You better be careful right now, DC. Mangone's got receipts.
I'm calling bullshit.
That.
You're going to be on the MLB show with your Twins hat, your Braves hat, your Rockies hat, just call it out.
Get him, Mangone. Go after him right now. How are you a Twins fan? Yeah, how is this the case?
It's because he was from Minnesota and then he came to Denver and he adopted a million teams, so now he's got all these different teams. And don't be mad that
Twins fan is a tough scene, so I kind of feel bad for DC if he's a Twin. That's a tough scene.
It is tough to be a Minnesota sports guy. That is fair.
Not right now with Ant.
Yeah,
it's got to be like the best time. It's got to be like the best time in a long time to be a Minnesota sports fan right now.
Well, that's why
since that Stephon Diggs like miracle catch from what was that against the Saints? I can't remember exactly, but you know what I'm talking about. The miracle catch, whatever it was.
That's why they did they were going to do like the remake. I think they did it. The remake of the Kevin Garnett and Randy Moss picture and do it with Ant and Justin Jefferson, right? Because Minnesota.
I mean, listen, you got two. Honestly, you've got two of the best players at their position in all of sports on Minnesota. I mean, you got probably the best wide receiver in the league, or two. You know what I mean? Like one or two, and you've got like the best shooting guard in the NBA in Ant.
At least they got out of Sam Darnold, right? Like the most Minnesota thing would have been to like re-sign Sam Darnold for like 5 years and then be stuck with him.
I just saw a quote saying JJ McCarthy throws passes like Matthew Stafford. I was like, shit, that's high praise. You better be good, JJ McCarthy. So I hope he's good. I don't know if he is, though. I didn't watch – I'll be honest, I didn't watch a ton of J.J. McCarthy in college.
Sam, for your sake, I feel confident Ant will get one. I hope it's for you in Minnesota, but he'll get one. Hopefully it's not somewhere else. Hopefully he doesn't leave and he stays because
no champions to show for it, though. The man's still young. I mean, God, like all the great players, they didn't just come in the league and fucking win. Every single one of them, they all lost at some point before they won. Like it happens. It doesn't just happen when you're, 20 and you come in the league or whatever he was and fucking like he's going to get there. It's slowly happening. So I hope it's this year for him. I root for Ant. So
JSU, I forget that because it just feels like Michael Jordan. He just won. He was in the league for 6 years and he won 6 championships. That's all I hear. I've never heard about his growing.
Well, right. Yeah, he won as a rookie and then he just kept winning, but he only ended with 6. You know what I mean? Like, no,
I've never heard of a losing season for Michael Jordan, right? I've never heard about that. So I'm
a Jordan guy, but like everyone loses. Like it happens. Like most of the time, you got to lose before you can ultimately get the job done at the end of the day. So not many people just win every year. Maybe Bill Russell. How many championships did he have? Did he win every year?
He had 10. He was playing against me and you, so we get
that's still a lot of chips, man. I'll just say that. That's a lot of chips right there. Yeah, 80s don't count for Jordan. What does that mean? MJ stays rent free in Travis's dome. That's right, Dub KJ. Get him. Love that.
Listen, I don't have like a huge take
LeBron
on being like
still lost to JJ Barea. That's all I remember. LeBron still lost to JJ Barea.
My biggest issue, JSU, is I feel like neither side listens to the other. It feels like it's like, are you Democrat or Republican? It's just like the worst conversation of the world. That's
it's the same with like MJ and LeBron argument. It's the same thing.
But
because you're either hardcore one way or the other. It's really hard to like talk to the other side because they have such a hard stance on it. And that's the same thing with politics. Like everyone just has such a hard stance one way or the other. So it's so hard to even have a conversation with people. But yeah, that's 20 seconds. We'll go there. Are you normal or are you? I mean, that's the first question I would ask, Kevin. That's the first question I would ask. But you know, we don't need to offend anyone on this show. No. If you're a lib, that's okay. Better times ahead. That's all I'll say for you guys. Better times ahead.
Kevin, my favorite question to ask the Jordan guys, and we could ask JSU this real quick. Can you say one negative thing about him? Let's start there. Like, what was a negative about Michael Jordan? Because he's not God. He's not perfect. He's got to have some flaw, right? There's got to be one flaw. If you could pick one, what is the flaw? Let's start there with the conversation.
Well, I mean, I think his flaw, if you're talking about what his flaw would be from like playing now to playing back then, Mangone, I think it's clear he wasn't as great of a 3-point shooter as you'd probably have to be nowadays in this type of NBA. But I also think his game would have adapted a little bit because he was the greatest athlete. He was great on defense when he wanted, like he could lock in on defense when he wanted to, and clutch as fuck. Like he had every type of like move in his arsenal. It was just the long range shooting. That would be the main difference. And I think he would have just developed it over time, kind of like Kobe did, kind of like all those guys kind of did, all those style of guys, you know, those mid-range type of shooters, they kind of slowly developed it throughout their career. I think it's just more emphasized now. So he would have started out, he probably would have been better at a younger age. That's the main difference, though.
No, I agree. He would have been an amazing 3-point shooter. Like people that don't think he would have evolved are literally insane. Just like I think
this was the difference, though. It was the mentality, and that's the difference. That's where the LeBron thing they lose me because he just didn't have this mentality. The only other person that really had it was Kobe, and the reason Kobe had it was because Kobe was obsessed with being, in my opinion, better than Michael Jordan, but also doing it, almost mirroring Michael in every way he could, but then trying to eclipse him.
Yeah,
that he was obsessed with that.
Can we get JSU to make a case for LeBron as the GOAT? That would be incredible. You know, what argument would you say?
The case for LeBron as the GOAT is more of a longevity. We've never seen anyone do what he has done at this age. He's broken all these records. Even though it did take him longer, he did break all these records. I think he's probably the highest IQ basketball player ever. He's more like a Jokic type. So again, this is why Tony likes LeBron. This is why he likes Jokic, right? A little more passive, plays the game the right way, can do everything too, can pass, score, rebound. He can do a little of everything there is. And again, another guy, though, LeBron didn't have the greatest 3-point shot coming into the NBA, right, Mangone? He slowly developed it and got better and better. He wasn't a good free throw shooter. I mean, he's still probably not like amazing at that, but he wasn't a great free throw shooter for a while. So
no, he definitely
that's the case. I just prefer it for my GOAT. I prefer someone who at the end of the game I know is going to go towards the ball, not go away from it, or not be okay with someone else getting a look. And that's the difference right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, the plumbers weren't good at doubling back then. No, I don't know. I'm just messing around.
I love it though. Like people don't think that Michael Jordan could have played against today's young guys like now. Like, come on, that's just ridiculous. Okay, just because he played against people that were a little different, like he would have adapted and he would have still dominated. Yeah, like
it's fun.
For sure.
It's fun to call the plumbers argument is always a fun one just to say.
Would Bob Cousy have struggled? Yeah, probably. You know what I mean? Like Bob Cousy might have struggled, but again, you got to be able to dribble with both hands at some point. But All right, that's enough of the LeBron MJ talk. Big T would have averaged a double of the MJ era. Oh my God, no! Stop it, Peter Christensen. Stop it. Go back to talking about Twins and baseball or something like that. Get out of here with Big T. Big T is a slow white. I'm sorry, he's the definition of slow white, and he's not like tall enough. He's tall, but not for the NBA tall enough. So he ain't doing a double. No chance. Zero chance. Sorry, Big T. No shot. All right. Well, let's get into this slate here, man. Going enough bullshit with the people. Fun bullshit with the people, though. But let's get into it here. Pacers and Cavs. First game up here, 7 o'clock lock time. Obviously, another 2-game slate we got. And second game of this series, Mangone. We saw game 1, Pacers. The Cavs came back in it, made it a game, but then the Pacers found a way to take it over at the end. I talked about it a little yesterday with, the guys that like Andrew Nemhard, who has just been so good in the playoffs and so key for this Pacers team. And he was amazing yesterday. Now, I don't know if you can, count on him to shoot 5 for 6 from 3 every game and stuff like that. But man, I'll tell you one thing, Mangone, when you need a big shot, this dude can make big shots. He is unafraid to take and make some big shots, man. So I really like how his game's progressed. I think the Pacers team is interesting. The price tags have come down on a lot of these guys too, like Benny Mathurin, who I haven't played all playoffs, but I think they finally priced him right. He's 3,500. The minutes haven't always been there in the playoffs. He did get 23 minutes last game, but most of the games he's getting in that like 16 range, right, Mangone? But 3,500, it makes you think a little bit, right, on this slate. I know you're a Benny Math guy. We'll get to him. Miles Turner's been good in the playoffs. Kind of hit or miss, I guess, at times, but he's been good. I don't know how you feel about Pascal. I do think if Evan Mobley is out, it makes it a lot easier for a guy like Pascal. Because in my head, Mangone, if you ask me, like, fully healthy, like JSU, what's like one of the worst matchups for Pascal? I'd probably say, like, well, Cleveland's got to be one of the tougher spots for somebody like Pascal. But if you take out the Defensive Player of the Year, and possibly DeAndre Hunter, who's another good defender, who they can go small with, I do think that's going to really hurt this team, and I do think it'll help Pascal a little bit more. I think it'll also free up Miles Turner even more if that does happen. So I think that's another like interesting talking point here. The only price hike, Tyrese Halliburton, they finally boosted him up, Mangone. So a lot of these price tags on these guys have gone down, gone the opposite way, really. But the notable guys that have had big games, Nemhard's 5,500, Halliburton 9K. That's like where we got to start with. What are we doing with Tyrese Halliburton? And you can bring it to like Donnie Mitchell if a couple of these Cavs guys are out. Like, what are you doing with these stars?
Yeah, Tyrese, we'll start there. It does feel pricey. I'm going to struggle to load up on him tonight. I would much rather play Donovan Mitchell at 8-9, who I could put at my shooting guard spot if I want to. Another guy would be like Ant Edwards. I'd rather play him instead of put at my shooting guard spot or point guard. I would rather load up on those two studs. Another thing that I think matters for this slate, JSU, that I'll call out is it's only a 2-gamer. And have you looked at the small forward position specifically, just small forward, JSU?
I haven't.
Okay,
so
I want you to pull up DraftKings.
Okay, so, I see what you're talking about immediately here. It is very, very light at small forward.
There's no one to spend for. So naturally you might be forced to spend for guards. So
I'll tell you where everyone's going to go, Mangone. I already know.
Where? Struss?
Max Struss.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to play Max Struss because, first of all, even if some of these guys were in Mangone, people would still play him He's going to get mega ownership, though, if one or two of these Cavs guys get ruled out, because the minutes are probably going to go up. And on top of it, he's cheap. And we know that, he can have big shooting games. He's a decent rebounder, too, for someone of his size. You know what I mean? He's not like super big, but he does rebound decent. And you would think if, like, let's say an Evan Mobley is out, he might be needed to rebound a little bit more, to do a little more than he normally does. So I think he's probably the chalk in this game. Well, he's got to be one of the chalk pieces in this game, but I assume you were going to make a case for Benny Mathurin as well.
No, yeah, definitely. I will get to him, but the point I was making is, like, I could see why you might get a little more Tyrese Halliburton at that price than you would think, but I prefer Mitchell and Ant. Like, those two guys, if I was building like a portfolio of teams, that's how I would want it. If I was playing single entry, yeah, that's exactly how I'd want it. I'd want more Ant. I'd want Ant, and I'd want Donnie Mitchell over him. Like, this is going to be a game where Donnie Mitch, I think, is like a lock for me, basically. Like, I loaded up on him last time. I don't see why I wouldn't do it again here, especially with the injuries they're dealing with. Between Donnie Mitch and Ty Jerome, they shot 50 shots last game. That's a lot of usage. And, of course, they lost that game, so maybe it's not the same. But, listen, they're still going to get a ton of usage. It's not going to change. It's not like Dean Wade is magically going to get, all these shots or something like that. Like, it's clearly still going to be funneled towards them. So, for me, Donnie Mitch and Ty Jerome are clear, like, possible must plays in this game. It's going to be hard to get away from them. You can make the case for the Max Strus as well. He's probably like third on the list for me. Maybe he ends up being second over a Ty Jerome because of the positions. You can make that argument, but those three are going to be key. I don't like Mobley that much. I just think the price has been bad, and he's dealing with the injury. Jared Allen's price is okay, but my issue with Jared Allen, JSU, is like, if I'm just making a decision on like Allen or Miles Turner, and I know the price isn't the same, it's $300, so it's pretty close. Just give me Miles Turner. I feel pretty confident this is a pretty good spot for him with the way that this team is designed. Miles Turner is going to get those looks in the corner. And let's say for some reason they aren't playing Evan Mobley. Yes, it does help Pascal Siakam, but it could help Turner too. So I like this spot for Miles over Jared Allen for sure. I know Sam Merrill's definitely been a debated conversation in our Discord at times. I'm not like loving it at 3-5, but it's not the worst play. Like I prefer Ty Jerome and Max Strus over those guys. So yeah, I think those are like the three main Cavs I like the most. So are Mitchell, Strus, and Ty Jerome. Obviously, injuries could change who we like and who we don't like. That's great reason to get in the Run Pure Sports Discord. Come hang out with us. You can ask us all these different questions. Like we said earlier, we had 2 members win $50,000 watching this show, and being in that Discord chat, I'm sure has helped them out along the way to help them build teams in the proper way. Indiana, it's going to be tough to figure this one out because, again, if Evan Mobley's in or out, I agree. That changes the situation for Pascal Siakam. I like Miles Turner a lot regardless. I think he could be a good play. The other options, Andrew Nembhard, I think, is a good play regardless at 5.5. The one issue you're going to run into is, like, do you want to use your values on someone like Andrew Nembhard? And on top of that, I already talked about how the forward position, you're already going to naturally spend down a little bit. And if you're naturally going to spend down with your small forward, you just might not be going to the cheaper guards. You might be going to the spend up guards. And, like, I already want Ty Jerome. So, like, I just might not get to Andrew Nembhard as much because of that naturally alone. Same with like a TJ McConnell. I do think this series has the ability to be a TJ McConnell series. Like, I think they need their guards to kind of step up, either one of Nembhard or a TJ McConnell. Maybe it ends up being a Benedict Mathurin. Like, I do like the idea of taking the chance on him because of the way the small forward position is kind of designed. We saw him get 23 minutes last game. He put up 10 shot attempts. It does seem like a good spot to take a gamble on that. And then I think Aaron Nesmith is like clearly like the last guy on this list. I do not love him at this point. I do not love the price at 5.2. But if you do decide to play him, again, I want to play him at small forward. I don't want to play him at the shooting guard spot. So if you do decide to play him, please make sure to do that. Bono asked if Garland is playing. I will touch on his injury. If you were watching the game and you heard the reporters talk about it, they basically said he was having trouble like walking. It was like that bad. I do not think he is playing.
They said he did a light practice shoot around, but so what is light? It sounds like he wasn't full speed, and if a guy's not going at full speed, they're probably not going to push it, especially only down 1-0, especially only down, you're only down one game. It's only been one game. So I don't know. That's just, I get pushing it. If you have no choice, but if this game is at home, like being down 2-0, could the Cavs come back down 2-0? Of course they could.
Yeah, you might be right about that. I think he sits. So I'm under the impression he sits. We'll see what ends up happening. But I'm
under the impression that two of these guys could sit. Again, a dislocated thumb for DeAndre Hunter. That's going to be painful. That's going to be more of I think a pain tolerance thing. It's just can he shoot without serious discomfort, you know what I mean? Catch the ball without serious discomfort, stuff like that. If you dislocate your finger, it hurts when you do it. It's going to be sore after too. The thumb is not ideal either. It's very not ideal because, you have to open up your hand to catch the ball, shoot the ball. That's going to, annoy your thumb. But, if he can handle it, maybe he's out there, but he's probably not going to feel great. Rebounding and shooting the basketball, especially if it's his shooting hand thumb, which I think it is. I think it's his right hand. So
Jason, here's a good question. I don't know who's in and out, but let's say obviously between Hunter, Mobley, and Garland, all of those guys, regardless, will be lower owned on this slate, right? No one's clicking them all day. Once we get the news 30 minutes before, those are all going to be low owned guys. Is there any of the options would you take a chance on at lower ownership, or are they just all passes for you?
Who'd you say? Hunter, Mobley? Who'd you say? Sorry.
Hunter, Mobley, and Garland, the injured guys, right? They're all going to be unknown, basically.
Yeah, but I'm going to know who's in and out before the slate starts.
You will know, but I'm just saying people are not going to click on them, right?
You mean if they're ruled in, no one's going to play them?
Correct. I'm saying, can you play any of these guys? I know you don't know who's in and out.
No. So here's the thing. I would most likely fade the studs. So fade the expensive guys like Garland and Mobley because I still got to pay a decent premium for them at $8K for Mobley, $7K for Garland. Unless we got really encouraging news, he feels so much better today or something, which I don't think is the case. The only one I'd be okay with spending on is DeAndre Hunter, and it's more of a position and price thing at 4,400. He does not have to do as much to get there, and the position is ass. Really, he's got to outscore Max Struss, which he could definitely do. Buddy
and he can leverage him.
And you can leverage him. Buddy Hield, Aaron Nesmith, Jaden McDowell. Those are the guys he has to outscore. Could he do that with the hurt? I think he could. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a little more of a risk, but I'm more comfortable playing the cheaper guy here at the bad position as opposed to someone like Darius Garland where hey, listen, there's no one really in Darius Garland's range at guard, but you're still playing him over a Donnie Mitchell, a Halliburton, someone someone you can plug in those spots, right, Mangone? So that's the way I look at it. Is DeAndre Hunter would be the one I would most be okay with playing, but we'll see if they play. I mean, I would assume one of those guys toughs it out, like Hunter or Mobley, but you never know, with an ankle, how much it swells overnight. And stuff with the thumb and everything like that. It's probably going to be more of a pain tolerance thing. I wouldn't be shocked if both guys tried to play, but they were also kind of limited.
You wouldn't be shocked if they both try to play and maybe one of them ends up making it through, but the other kind of has to call it quits in the third. That can happen. So
yeah, exactly. Or he plays, but he can't do as much, right, Mangone? He can't give you as much. So so that's the other thing. If Mobley is out or DeAndre Hunter does that bump Jared Allen? I definitely think it has to bump him a little bit if Mobley's out, right? I assume people like projections will bump him though in a big way if Mobley's out, right?
Yeah, he would definitely get a bump, but like it's hard to know without that information. So it's like I think the ones that I feel safest being like very confident in are Mitchell, Ty Jerome, and Strus. Like those three.
So how would you rank Miles Turner, Rudy Gobert, Jared Allen? Let's say Mobley's out.
And Mobley's out. I'd probably put Allen 1, just because I actually think if Mobley's out, it helps Siakam so much that it might actually hurt Miles Turner's like opportunity a little bit more. So I'm gonna go Allen, Turner, Gobert, and then I would say if Mobley's in, I actually like Turner way more, just because you're guaranteed basically that you're going to get Jared Allen covering him. And Jared Allen's not running out to that three-point line as much. And that is where Miles Turner sees that ceiling. And, of course, all that paint play when it's packed, that's where Miles Turner's getting some blocks. So that's kind of how I would rank them. And Gobert's last because it's a feel-out game, right? It's the first game. You got Naz Reid, who I do think they're going to use Naz Reid a lot. We'll talk about that. And, of course, Rudy going – I know Rudy looked like Shaq last game, but I'm not betting on that twice. And we got Draymond Green, of course, who will be causing him some trouble.
Yeah, I think I'd rank them the same way. Cavs -9 right now on DK. Kind of makes sense, I guess. Right now, we'll see with the injuries and stuff. Maybe they do have a feeling that one or two of these guys does play. Or
yeah, they can't hang like a -6 or 5. Like that definitely tells me like at least 2 of the guys are in for sure. I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the first time since like 2021, I think I saw for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. So, yeah. Anything else? I think for me, I definitely lean Donnie as the stud that I would want overall in this game. Tyrese would be 2. They'd be 1, 2. And then, it's going to come down to these Mavs guys or these Cavs guys and who's in and out and stuff like that. If I play Struss, depending on how owned I think he's going to be and who's out, but we'll have to wait and see on that because he's one of those guys I kind of hate playing as chalk, but I also hate this position. So it's just it's a tough thing to look at with the small forward position. Definitely, though, if you're playing Struss, I would play him in the small forward position.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next game here, Golden State and Minnesota, which I definitely think is the more – I think it's the more interesting game from like a real life standpoint. I do think game 1 is probably a better fantasy game, just the way I personally think Golden State's going to have to play and that Minnesota can play. One, Minnesota, they can play big, they can play small. Golden State, they want to play like the defensive battle game, right man going. They don't want to like run and gun too much and score a ton of points. That's not how they're trying to win games. And I think that kind of like feeds into what Minnesota wants to play. And they're just a better offense than like what they saw against Houston last time out. They're just a more, I think, well-rounded, complete offense. So it's going to give Golden State some trouble. I don't know how many times they're going to be able to like hold them to like super low-scoring games here. And that's like my one issue with this matchup is I think Minnesota is very good on defense. So is Golden State, in my opinion, but I think they're the better offense too, or more well-rounded offense. So the question is for me, like Jaden McDaniels was awesome last series. Is this a series where it may be not as good from a fantasy perspective because he's asked to be running around with Steph a little bit more and or Jimmy? How do you view him? And then like the bigs, like we got to talk about the bigs because Golden State got killed in some games against Houston by the double big lineup. Well, Minnesota has 3 really good bigs, so they could do the same thing.
Yeah, I'll answer that, but let me just say, Jake, I have it Ty Jerome, Nemhard, and Dante DiVincenzo. That would be the way you have it. I basically have it listed.
I would have it raked how you have right now. Yep.
And if those Cavs guys are out, it's like Ty Jerome by like a million, right? Like he just is the best player in the season.
Yeah.
But
yeah, definitely.
All right. To your point with Jaden McDaniels, we could start there. Because that small forward position, I'm telling you, it's so interesting today with all the different options. Because there are good options, but they're just all cheap. Like it's weird. You just have no one to spend on. So, but I actually think this is a good series for McDaniels. One, they're going to need him. I do think those like with the floor spaced more, which obviously the Warriors are going to want to have more of a spaced floor out there. That helps McDaniels. Sure, he's going to have games where he gets into foul trouble, right? Like that happens. It happened against Luka and LeBron dealing with them. Like that's going to happen. And also he's going to have games where he pops off. I think he's a good play at 5'6". I'm definitely interested. Like if you told me spend on Neesmith or Jaden McDaniels, give me Jaden McDaniels every time. Like I feel very confident. I would rather just like load up on him than like I'm not going to like make like a split in MME of 60 McDaniels and 40 Neesmith. I would much rather just load up on McDaniels. I think it's a good spot for him. Also, he's not saying he's a role player, but he's not the main scoring threat, and it helps him playing at home. He's definitely one of those guys where it benefits him, I think, playing at home. So I like McDaniels. If it's Donovan Mitchell or Ant Edwards, give me Donnie Mitch more than likely with all the injuries they're dealing with and a must win. But I love Ant Edwards too. I think those are probably my two priority spends of the slate. My third priority.
You got Ant over Steph, right? And Jimmy.
I think I have Ant over Jim. I think I have Ant over Jimmy mainly because I don't think Jimmy looks good still. Like, does Jimmy look good enough to play basketball? Yes, but I don't think he's been dominant since the injury. Maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen it. Have you seen Jimmy look dominant since the injury?
I mean, I've been saying it, since he's came back, but like he doesn't look right to me or as normal to me. There's spots where I'm like, okay, your team's struggling, like go get an easy bucket or get to the free throw line, and he just doesn't do that as much. In this series, he's gonna have to, because if he doesn't do that, they're going to be in big trouble. Like I think he needs to really try and get to the line double-digit times, or they're going to have issues with this Minnesota team. This Minnesota team's physical, they're big, and like Jimmy has to play really big in this series. He's got to get them, decent rebounding numbers. He's got to facilitate a little. But the one thing that I noticed with Jimmy and a lot of these other Golden State guys, and I talked about on the last show, but when they drive into the middle of the lane, a lot of times they are looking to facilitate instead of score and be aggressive. And it's like the one thing outside of Steph. Steph's the one guy, when he gets inside in the paint, like he's looking to score. But like everyone else, a lot of times they're looking to drive and kick to an open shooter. And what's going to happen when they kind of say like, okay, yeah, beat me one-on-one in the paint, and you got a bucket, but you still got to do it. We're going to stay attached to those shooters. Like, you're going to have to be aggressive and try and get to the line or score. And Jimmy just, to me, every time he had the chance to do it, he like wouldn't do it. And, he'd like pick his dribble up Mangone, and then he'd look to pass like out and reset up and stuff like that instead of like trying to be aggressive. So yeah, he doesn't look right to me. He is 8,600 too. I will say, like, at the position, like, I mean, obviously he's a better player than Mobley. Julius Randle, Pascal Siakam do they have like the massive consistent ceiling that Jimmy has? Like, I think their floor's lower, honestly, than Jimmy. But like, could they get us? Like, they can't get us 60. Like, Jimmy could get 60. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're getting 60, honestly. But could they do like 50? Yeah. It's just dependent, and they're cheaper too. So it kind of just depends on the lineup construction. I would be more okay with spending on guards though, is kind of my route. I think I like the guard position more than I like spending on the bigs here. So if you make me rank it, I would probably have Ant and Donnie and Tyrese ahead of guys like Jimmy if I had to rank them all.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I know Big T did this on one slate. He like spent for I remember he spent for all guards, right? Like he played Tyler Hero, Steph Curry. It was like a 2-gamer. And like I'll tell you this, if you decide to play like Donnie Mitchell, Ant Edwards, and like one of Tyrese or Curry, and I already have Ty Jerome in there, so these are the 4 guards I have. You're left with 4-3 for your small forward, power forward, center, and forward. And like I'm gonna tell you this. No one's going to play that build, right? Like this is like a really unique build that you could definitely do today. Like how many people, JC, are going to play 3 of those spend up guards, right? Like I think a lot will play 1 or 2, but I don't think they're all going to play 3. You know what I mean? Like I think people are going to sell.
I think guards are the best spots right now, the way I look at it. So I think people should play 3. But what about this, Mango? What if Minnesota blows out Golden State? What if this game's completely one-sided and the first game just nukes? You know what I mean? It might be lineup similar to yesterday, even though like the game didn't blow out, but like there was like 2 Knicks on the winner with just a bunch from the late game, but swap it, right? The early game's the one where there's like 6 guys from the early game, and then there's like 2 T-Wolves on the winner. It's just a blowout.
I like that. And if it is a blowout, which I kind of I'm not leaning it's like a 50-point blowout, but I think the T-Wolves kind of win handedly. And if they do, I think Naz Reid has a pretty good game, right? And you could put him at your center spot at 4-6. I think it's a really good Naz Reid spot. I get him at home, role player at home, which is obviously pretty ideal. I think this is a really good series for him. I think we're going to have an awesome series from Nas this time around. I'm going to be interested in him at 4-6. That's just a buy low spot, right? Like Naz Reid, I wouldn't be shocked if we get the game 6 in this series. I wouldn't be shocked if he's like 5'8" or 6K. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like he is too cheap. So I think he's kind of a key piece for me on the Timberwolves. I wish Dante DiVincenzo at 5K was like a little bit cheaper. But I wish he was small forward eligible. That would help a little bit. But for me, like I think McDaniels and Naz Reid are like the values on the Timberwolves that I like. I don't like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I know Julius Randle was great, but I don't want to spend 7.5 on Julius Randle in this spot. Like I know he was been awesome in that last series, but I just don't think it's the game for Julius Randle.
I'm just going to say it, though. Like, he should have mismatches a lot here because when you're dealing with Rudy on the glass and you got to keep a body on him or Nas, or if it's Nas, then you're dealing with a big that's fucking out at the 3-point line sometimes, right? It should open up a lot of opportunities for Julius Randle to be a little bit of a bully and, you know, get deep into the paint and get those easy 2s and stuff like that he likes. So I'm with you. I don't love Randall, but like I could see him having some blow up games here just because he should have a mismatch a lot. And I think Draymond's going to have to deal with Rudy. Like they have no choice.
Randall's going to project really well, which is fair, which is why I talked about that build with all those guard spend ups. Like people like Randall and those mid-tier centers are going to be high owned. So if you just like avoided them with those guard spend ups, you will have a unique construction. We're just talking like a unique construction. That will be a sweet one. Here's a good way to do it, JSU. Rank the spend up power forwards. So the power forwards you have to rank are Jimmy Butler, Evan Mobley, Julius Randle, and Pascal Siakam. I do think injuries matter for this, but like after that, you're left with just mid-tier.
I think forwards. I like the Julius and Pascal sides a little bit more. Here.
Yeah, I think I agree. It obviously depends if Mobley's in or out for Pascal.
Right. So if that's the case, I definitely lean Julius as my favorite. And then it would be Jimmy if Evan's in, then Pascal.
And then Mobley's clearly 4th.
Yes. Yeah, that's how I would do it.
Okay. Big T popping in. Haven't watched yet, but the JSU talking about Hartenstein is too small for Jokic, even though he's taller than him yet. JSU, would you like to comment?
Who's taller than who? I'm confused. I'm very.
Reed Anthony.
Hartenstein's taller than Jokic.
He said, haven't watched yet, but did JSU talk about how Hartenstein is too small for Jokic, even though he's taller than him yet?
He's not taller than him. They're both 7 feet.
I don't know. Was he tall? I don't know. I'm reading the prompter. I'm reading what Big T is saying. So
he's lying. You don't even Big T, get out of here. You're drunk on whatever the dentist is giving you, or the Novocaine or whatever. They're both 7 feet. And honestly, he doesn't look 7 feet, but they're both 7 feet. Or is Jokic 7'1"? Wait, I'm gonna debunk this right now. If Jokic is 7'1", let's see. Mango, what do you think? Is he 7 feet or 7'1"?
Big T says Hartenstein is 100% taller than him.
Let's see.
So.
Oh shit. They got Jokic listed at 6'11". Okay, I'll give Big T credit. He's right. But it doesn't matter because he's still too small for Jokic because Jokic can just easily shoot over him. So he's still not long enough. So it doesn't matter. It's like Chet's 7'1", and he's still too small for Jokic. Why? And he's got a longer length. And length is key. Yeah. So what does that matter? Chet's still would we agree? Big T, you think Chet is too small for Jokic?
I just think Jokic, I think Jokic's third leg boosts him over Hartenstein. That's what it is. It's that third leg.
Can't hear you. I'm waiting for Big T's response. He's slowing down here, but they're both too small. They are too small. It doesn't matter. He can shoot right over him. He struggled to do that against Zubac. Why? Because Zubac was big and he had length. Jokic has a bigger penis than both of them. That much we agree on. Chet is a twig. He's too small. What do you want? Like, he's too small, and he's taller than him. You won't say he's too small, but you know that's what you want to say. He's too small.
I saw a good tweet, JSU. Someone said, when you need your last leg of your parlay to hit, and it says the last leg, and the last leg is a picture of Chet Holmgren's skinny leg. Like, it's just, it was so good. Like,
oh God. Let's see here. All right, let's get back to where were we at here? We were
we were talking about the spend up forwards, and we could talk about.
So one thing I'll just say it, like, I like the Podziemski, Buddy Hields of the world. I don't love them as much, even though Buddy is small forward, so he might like come into play naturally. But that crazy game that you got 9-3, Chet is smaller than Snyder. Jesus Christ. Snyder is so skinny. I don't know about that. Snyder is skinny. But either way, I can't believe Big T came in talking about the difference between 6'11" and 7 feet and how Hartenstein's bigger than Jokic. Get out of here, Big T. Go back to getting your teeth pulled. You'll have time to talk tomorrow. But so I don't love chasing the Buddy Hield game. I think people will, Mangone, especially because of the weak position.
Yeah.
I think obviously from a minutes perspective, he's going to play more than Benny Mathurin, but I don't mind like the pivot to Benny Mathurin for a little cheaper. Like I said, if Hunter plays and those other guys don't, I could take a shot on Hunter. So yeah, I'm probably not going to these Golden State role players like the Podziemskis, the Buddy Hields of the world. I'm probably just going to stay away from those guys personally.
What if Peyton's out? If Peyton's out, does that change your opinion?
If Peyton's out, no, because like I know Steve Kerr, and again, if Minnesota gets up in this game, you know how quick he hooks those dudes, Mangone. He's going to hook these guys really fast, and I think we can bring this to Showdown because I think it's a really interesting talking point. Like, so. Golden State just came off of a tough 7-game series. Now they got to play Minnesota in Minnesota. Really tough team, like we said. What happens when Minnesota just smacks this team and Steve Kerr just waves the white flag in the third quarter? Like, that could easily happen in this game. So I want to be heavier on the Minnesota side for Showdown. I'm definitely going to be higher on Ant in the captain spot. I like Julius as well, just because I don't like the the Golden State studs as much in this spot. So like for me, it's Ant and Julius are my two favorite captains. And then I'm definitely going to look at trying to get some of these cheap guys in, depending on like Jonathan Kuminga was getting some run man going. I don't know if that sticks. Steve Kerr had a quick hook with him. He had like literally made one turnover and Steve Kerr was like, "You're out of the game." And I don't think he ever came back in, or if he did, it was for like 2 minutes. But I just don't think I don't think they love him here in this spot. But again, we can look at some of these like guys that aren't going to get projected, like Terrence Shannon Jr., Pat Spencer, Trace Jackson Davis. Those are like guys, if you see a blowout in this game, I think those are three guys that I'll have interest in. They're all 1K. And, you know, I can get them in and I can play a bunch of studs. Like, let me pull this. I want to pull it up here real quick because what does it get me, Mangone? Can I get all well, first of all, can I get Ant and the captain with my guy Randall? Let's say we'll throw Steph in there. So we can do 3 of the 4 studs in this scenario here with a 1K guy, just any 1K guy. And that leaves you 55-50 for your last 2 spots here in the util spot. So you're looking at, you know, you can't get Jimmy, but you can go up to like the next guy, like Rudy's the other highest guy, and that'll still leave you 3,100 for your last spot. So that's like a Gary Payton, Kevon Looney, Jonathan Kuminga, or another 1K range. That's like a pretty solid team right there.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. The cheap options, like if I had to pick between these role players, I think I'm leaning Moses Moody for cheap. But it's tough to pick. Like I don't want to play many of these guys. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a script too where I want to play more. Like I want to play more Timberwolves like in Showdown than I want to play like Warriors. And kind of Kerr gonna call for Ant to be suspended. Yeah, probably. He is Steve Kerr doesn't like that. He's got the lip tendencies to him. So we'll see. We'll see how how mad he gets at the press conferences with Ant Edwards.
He's not going to like it when Ant Edwards is shit talking everybody, including him.
Yeah, he will not like that at all. Podziemski's the other interesting one that I guess could get a lot of run with Gary Payton possibly out. But the problem is like that feel out game and for the Warriors, like it's the first one, so you don't know what they're going to do. And if it blows out,
Andy's 7,400, man, going like he is this. Like he is right next to McDaniels, Draymond Green, Rudy. Dante's just below him. I mean, I
like Moody for way less. I think it's a way better play.
Yeah, and we saw Moody. Moody gets blowout run. He'll get some blowout run too. So that's the other thing with Moody. So it kind of fits. If you like, so if Moody's one of those guys too, he's like a tweener because he can get actual run man going, and then he can also grab some blowout run, which is always good to have even in these scripts. So yeah, he's someone, and he fits that build that I was talking about too. If you just play 1K guy, he fits that build exactly. So
yeah,
the question is just like how many Golden State guys I want on my team, but it feels to me like I'm going to try and get at least 3 Minnesota guys, 3 to 4, and then build from there.
Agree. I definitely want at least 3 or 4 Minnesota guys. If you had to pick between the 1K, like if I had to rank the 1K guys, which it's definitely possible, but if you had to rank them, for me, the only Timberwolf 1K guy I would be interested in is Shannon Jr., which I actually think he could get run in this series a little bit, especially if it goes smaller.
Especially game 1, right?
Yeah. So I think he is the Timberwolf 1K guy to keep in your pool. If you force me to pick a Golden State 1K guy, I think it's either Guy Santos or do you think Pat Spencer maybe?
Yeah, it's Pat Spencer, dude. That dude, he's got a stash. He's got big balls, man. That guy can hoop.
I just think he's earned maybe a chance to check in. And if the game is getting like let's say they're down 15 in like the second quarter, I wouldn't be shocked they checked in Pat Spencer like for a couple minutes and see
especially if Gary Payton's still out. Like they could do shit like that in game one. And then I'll mention, I'm sure Tony's gonna love fucking Luka Garza. He talks about him every time he's 1K. Like he would be the other Minnesota guy just because he can rack up stats. I agree with you though. Terrence Shannon's probably the best. Like I said, if I was ranking them, it would be Terrence Shannon 1, and then Luka Garza from Minnesota would be 2. And on the Golden State side, it'd be Pat Spencer 1, and then Trace Jackson Davis 2. Those are the 4 1K guys I would look at. I probably won't look at anyone else that's 1K. And again, it's not a slate. Like we don't have Jokic and SJ. It's not that type of slate. So those 2 1K builds that Tony was talking about on the last show, those I don't think you need to go to here necessarily. But again, if it is a big blowout, like we could see 2, like if Kerr actually does like pull his starters like he did that one game, like you could potentially see 2 1K guys on the winner. It wouldn't like totally shock me. I just don't think it's something like you have to do if you don't want to. There are cheap guys. The question is like the Quentin Post, Kevon Looney, because Quentin Post lost run last game. He was playing like double-digit minutes, and then that last game he only played 3 minutes. They kind of obviously they went more minutes to their starters, Mangone, but they also gave Kevon Looney some of his minutes, I think, and went more with someone like him. So that's kind of the question. Like yesterday, I talked about DeAndre Jordan not fitting the series. Like, why would they play DeAndre Jordan? That makes no sense. I don't think he got in the game, Mangone. And he was playing in the Clipper series anyways. I'm pretty sure he was playing in that backup role to Yoke pretty much. And yesterday, I don't think he got in at all. So that was an adjustment they made. And again, it's more of a matchup thing. I thought against the Clippers, they could play someone like DeAndre, whereas like against a team as athletic as OKC, so much youth, and so he just doesn't like fit. And they went Strother. I don't even think Pickett played. They went Strother over him. They went Russ, obviously, and who was the other guy off the bench? That Peyton Watson. So they went like those 3 guys and just went like a little small with Jokic off the floor. But that again, those are like matchup things. Like, do we think that Quentin Post could fall in that bucket where like this is more of a Looney series, even like more of than last series?
Yeah, I mean, they could. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they experiment with Post and Looney a little bit, but I don't know what they're going to stick with. And obviously, it's the first game, so Steve Kerr is probably going to play like 12 guys or something insane. So you're not going to get that many minutes from it, right? Like, you're not going to get Quentin Post to play like 20-plus minutes. That's like one of the worries. You're just going to see all these different pieces mixed and matched in the first game. So I don't know. That's my problem with kind of some of these cheap guys. But of course, for Showdown, that matters, right? You kind of, I don't know. I don't like this Showdown. I'll say that. This is not a Showdown I'm looking to load up on. I don't know if you feel the same, but game 1 of the Warriors is not my favorite Showdown. I'll say that.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of like it just because I think the game theory in playing the blowout narrative is interesting to me, and I don't think people do that as much. I think people want it when people build naturally. They want these games to be close, naturally, so they build that way. And so I think building for stuff like that, after seeing what you saw Minnesota at home, I think there's kind of an edge in that. And again, because I know these guys that aren't projected, they're not going to get ownership, Mangone. Like, no one's playing Pat Spencer and Terrence Shannon, and they're not projected. Or maybe Terrence Shannon will get projected. I don't.
Shannon will get projected, but not super high.
But not like Pat Spencer, not Trace Jackson Davis, not Luka Garza. Those guys aren't getting projected, so they're going to be unowned. And even Pat Spencer, what's he going to be like? He's going to be 8%.
Yeah,
7%.
He won't be owned. Luka Garza won't be owned, right? If you do think it blows out and like Luka Garza gets in there for 5 minutes, he will dominate. You know what I mean? Or 8 minutes, he'll dominate.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So again, could be totally wrong. Golden State could keep this game in, make it exciting. Play tough and stuff like that. It just feels like a Minnesota roll spot in game 1. So Yeah, that's probably my angle for Showdown Mangone. So that's why I'll be more Ant and Julius in the captain, and lower on the Golden State guys. I will say if I had to play a stud in the captain, I think it would be Jimmy from Golden State, but I personally probably won't do it. Do you have Jimmy or Steph as your like number one captain for Golden State?
No, it's Ant 1, Jimmy 2, Curry 3.
Okay. All right. So you don't have any Randall in your captain pool.
Oh, no, you could put Randall. I was just thinking, like, I don't consider Randall as like a stud when it comes to that, but Randall,
in my head, I just like normally like there's like two like most expensive guys on each team, so we talk about those guys. But I get it, Julius Randle's
I would put Randall in the pool, right? Like
he's been really good in this playoffs. Like
yes.
he has been, and I'm not a Julius Randle fan, so I'm not. I've never been like a huge fan of Julius Randle, but man, like look at what he's done in the playoffs so far. Like super consistent with this team. So. Yeah, I like the way he's playing. It's not resulting in like massive fantasy scores, right, Mangone? But
yeah,
he is one of those guys. He can randomly pop off and affect the game in multiple ways. Get some assists, get some rebounds, depending on how they decide to attack Ant and some of the other guys. So I do think he should have a mismatch. What are they going to put Jimmy on him? Like Jimmy's tough, man, but he should still have a mismatch there.
I'll say this: the more I've built, the Randall thing makes a lot of sense. I do think it'll come at ownership, but Randall definitely is like a very easy click in a lot of these like constructions that I'm looking at. So
yeah, especially because there's not much else in his range besides Pascal, right? Evan Mobley might be hurt.
Yeah,
it's really just if you're spending or you're going down to like Draymond. I think Draymond's like the next forward. If you go down, right, Mangone, like from Pascal.
And Randall's center eligible, right? That's not nothing. Like it's like, Pascal's not center eligible, you know what I mean? Like, so it's it's definitely, it's not completely nothing. So yeah, we'll see what I end up doing, but I know I'll be playing Donnie Mitch and Ant Edwards for sure. I'm loading up on those two. Ty Jerome, I'm expecting to play. Like those guards seem like fairly locked on to my teams, and then we'll see what I do with like the cheap guys, I guess.
All right, let's give our plays of the day, Mangone. And if you like a bet or anything like that, you can throw it out as well. I know you've been posting some bets, but if you like any,
I haven't looked at any of them yet, so I don't even.
All right, there you go. So no bets from Mangone.
I think I'm too busy today. I gotta like do 1,000 things before.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable, Mangone.
I don't think I'm getting bets in today. We'll see. Maybe later on, but we'll see.
I need a Mangone winner. You can't fucking shortchange everyone with no Mangone winner. This is bullshit.
How about this? I'll pull it up real quick. I'll see what I can find.
Yeah, you pull it up. I'm gonna say I'm taking. Well, first of all, I'm taking Minnesota tonight minus the 7, and I'm probably gonna lean the Pacers here. I'm probably going to take the Pacers as well. I do think the Cavs have a good chance to bounce back, but the problem is with all these guys banged up, if they do, I still think the Pacers can hang in this game. So I lean the Pacers in Minnesota are probably going to be my two bets, two spots I'm going to bet personally. And I do like what Matty Ice is saying in the chat. If you do think Minnesota goes out there and crushes, like you can outline them up, get there, update none of the 3 Cavs that shoot around. Okay, that's per Benair, which he said none. So I think the Pacers are a great bet, and I'm going to bet them.
Like, Benair, you're not trolling? Like, that's like real?
I'm going to take Benair for his word. I'm not even going to look it up. How about that, Benair? I showed confidence in you. Don't screw me, Benair.
I mean, I just know Benair can. 10 minutes ago.
I'm not even chat. I'm not even looking at the rest of you. I'm trusting Benair, and I'm not even looking.
Here's a good tweet. So this is the shoot around basket at the Cavs practice facility where Evan Mobley and Garland always work. They aren't there today. It belongs to Craig Porter Jr. So.
Oh, a little Craig Porter. We love Craig Porter on this show.
It might be.
Unbelievable.
I'll have to look into that more, but that's not,
Are you going to play some Craig Porter?
I got to think about it now, right? I'm looking to make a bet maybe on the Pacers.
Well, I'll tell you right now, it ain't Dean Wade season or Isaac Okoro season. I can tell you that. I'll go ahead with that one. But
the Pacers are plus 8.5 right now. I'm trying to look at some props. Right? This got to be like a slam for some of these guys. I don't know. I'm trying to.
The Pacers are plus. Did you say plus 8.5?
Yeah, right now.
They're plus 280, man. Go. Forget about the plus 3.5 or 8.5. Plus 280.
Yeah, I like the 8.5 a little more.
I'll tell you right now, though, you know what I'm gonna like? Like Donnie Mitchell, he doesn't do this often, but like this could be one of those games where like Ty Jerome, I always like these like big props, like Ty Jerome double at 11-1 or 12-1. Donnie Mitch double at like 6-1. Like these could be those spots, man, going where they go like absolutely nuke because they don't have guys, right? Like they have to do more of all this other stuff. Or like Max Struss. Dude, Max Struss's double is 30-1. That's my bet right there. If all those guys are out, that dude could get 10 rebounds. He's a solid rebounder. I'm betting that, man, going. You go Pacers money line with Max Struss double. That's 160-1 right there. And then we add Minnesota. That's my no sweat bet. I'm putting it down right now.
I'm trying to find one of those
down, man, going.
I like it. I'm trying to find one of those like ladders where it's.
Of course, you like it. That's a winner right there. Pacers money line plus Max Struss double plus Minnesota to win. That is it's over 200-1, 220-1 right there.
What do you think Max Struss to score 20 points is? 20 plus.
20 plus 600 plus 500.
It's 9-1. So.
Oh, I like that. 9-1.
Yeah.
That's higher than I would have thought. Yeah.
I was looking at Donnie Mitchell once because I was curious. 45 plus points is 12-1. I'm not loving that one, but I was just curious.
I'm not loving that one, but I do think this is a Donnie Mitch explosion type game. So if you do like Donnie Mitch and you want to kind of go after that, I do think.
I'm betting is over on points. 28.5. I'm betting. That's normally. I think it's good. He's gonna. I've seen this Donnie Mitch thing too. I've seen this movie too many times. You know what I mean? Like I'm in. Donnie Mitch is gonna shoot so many shots.
I started betting Max Struss ladders on rebounds, and then DK just stopped me. Damn it, DK! They just took out the. Yeah, I got 8, 9, and then I was about to hit the 10 at 28-1, and they took it off the board. Damn it.
Well, Max Struss is 10.5 points. I bet that over. I think that's another good one. So,
what was it, man? Going
10.5 points for Max Struss. I bet the over.
I like that. Yeah, it's just a normal. That's a good. Is that your bet? Is that the one you're giving?
Yeah, we'll go with that. I also have Donnie Mitch over 20.5. I think the Cavs show up still today, so I'm not too worried about it. I think it's going to be fast paced.
These Cavs players are still like Ty Jerome is good, man. Like these guys can. Yeah, these guys can definitely get there and have big games. I like it. It sounds
like DeAndre Hunter because they didn't mention him. I'm assuming he'll be playing, but we'll see. And we thought that was just a finger, so not a huge deal.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. I mean, but it's still something I think you got to be like a little wary of. But again, I think it's more just going to be like a little discomfort when he shoots and shit, right, man? Going like, it's probably not going to feel great, but he can work through it, I guess, is the whole point behind it. So, yeah, there we go. There's some bets. Man, do you have a favorite play, like DFS play?
Yeah. I'm just looking real quick. I might bet Jared Allen's over on rebounds as well. I think that's a good one. So, yeah, I'll get in there.
All right, man, just make sure he doesn't steal any from Max Struss.
Yeah, that's fair.
He
okay, so play. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give a value that I talked a little bit about. Let's go with Naz Reid. I think it's a good game for him. I think this series is good for him. So 4.6K, the ceiling's too good. I like him in tournaments. You can play him at power forward, or you can play him at center if you need a cheap center. That's probably the lowest center I would go to. So yeah, give me Naz Reid 4.6K as the play of the day.
All right, I like that. I will stick in the mid range, I guess, since well, I guess cheaper play for you was Nasri, but it feels like to me that there's going to be no Evan Mobley here, and I just don't know how. Like, if Evan Mobley and Garland are out, I don't know how you don't play both Ty Jerome and Donnie Mitchell if that's the case. Yeah. I won't give them as the plays, but I just view them as locks, man. Going like those are like the first two guys that go in my lineup. Like, are those two guys probably, and then I build from there and see.
My core would be Jerome and Edwards and Mitchell. I would already have them in there personally for me.
Yeah. So the guy I'll give though, I'm gonna go Julius Randle as like I don't know if he's gonna be low owned, high owned, but I do think this is a good spot for him to have a big game here. It should be a mismatch for him. Hopefully Rudy doesn't have 200 rebounds again, and they can spread it out a little bit more. Show the love, Rudy. You don't need 200 rebounds. You can give a little to Julius here, but I'll take Julius Randle as my play of the day. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. The big man will be back to gloat about his Nuggets, make fun of me about the height of Isaiah Hartenstein and Porzingis and whatever else he wants to just bring up. So we'll see you guys then. Until tomorrow, good luck in your DraftKings, DFS, and betting. We are out of here. Peace.